Hey, you're listening to the C3 Network Podcast with Dan Holland. Our mission is to create a network of microchurches that are finding, teaching, and equipping people to be on mission. Our hope is that this encourages you. Be sure to leave us a review so you can help us share our message with more people who need to hear it. And now, Dan Holland.
Let me describe a trap almost everyone falls into, but hardly anyone notices while they're inside it. It sounds like this: I'll enjoy life when I graduate, when I get the job, when the kids are older, when the bills are smaller, when the schedule slows down, when the house is paid off, when I retire. I'll enjoy life when. Welcome to Chasing the Wind. I'm Dan Holland, and we're looking at 10 rules from Solomon for catching what lasts. This is rule number 4. Solomon looked at that pattern, and he cut straight through it in one line. Ecclesiastes 6:9, better what the eye sees than the roaming of the appetite. Now, in plain language, better to enjoy what is in front of you than to live chasing what isn't. That sentence confronts one of the great illusions of modern life, the illusion that joy lives in the next season. We postpone living. We postpone gratitude. We postpone being present. We postpone joy, and we call it ambition. Solomon says it's appetite without arrival. It's the constant roaming of the heart, and roaming hearts never rest. I once sat in my living room with a man who had what most people would call the perfect life. Beautiful wife, 4 great kids, good job, stable home. But as he sat on my couch crying, telling me his marriage was ending, through tears, he said words I have never forgotten. He said, Dan, just take the time to smell the roses. Slow down. Take time to enjoy your life. And when you have children, this is before I had kids, he said, enjoy them. He said, I didn't, and I lost it. See, he was chasing the next big payday, and in the process, destroying his family's security. He wasn't talking about laziness. He wasn't talking about abandoning responsibility. He was talking about the tragedy of success without enjoyment. And Solomon warns us about that exact tragedy. He says, it is possible to accumulate prosperity and never taste it. Imagine building a life you're too distracted to live. I should probably say that again. That's why rule number 4 is not passive, it's urgent. It's this: be content. Enjoy what you have. Contentment is not settling. Contentment is awareness. It's the discipline of seeing what God has already placed in your hands. And Paul echoes this whole concept in 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 17, 18, and 19. He tells believers not to put their hope in wealth because he says, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who, he says, quote, richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment. Did you catch that? It's for our enjoyment. See, God is not anti-joy. God is anti-idolatry. The problem isn't having things. The problem is expecting things to save you. When wealth becomes hope, contentment is gone. It just disappears. When hope is placed in God, though, wealth becomes a tool and not a master. And Paul adds this: use what you have to be generous, to do good, to invest in what lasts. That's how enjoyment deepens. Gratitude expands when generosity flows. See, contentment isn't isolation from the world. It's alignment inside of the world. I like Philippians 3, verse 16. It says, only let us live up to what we have already attained. In other words, don't despise your present season. Live in it fully. Steward it faithfully. Don't keep waiting for permission to inhabit and live your life. Because here's the quiet danger. If you cannot enjoy where you are, you will not enjoy where you're going. The appetite simply migrates with you. You graduate and want the job. You get the job and you want the promotion. You get the promotion, you want freedom. You get freedom and now you want the past. Wanting never ends unless it's interrupted by gratitude. So what does rule number 4 look like in practice in real life? Well, I think one of the first things is you could name 3 things that you already have that you've stopped seeing. Not hypotheticals, not future goals, but right now realities. Maybe it's a relationship you have, a skill, a meal, a home to live in, a friend, a breath. Contentment begins with seeing, according to Solomon. Solomon says, better what the eye sees. So train your eyes to see. Second, enjoy something without upgrading it. This is what I mean. Eat a meal without scrolling. Talk to somebody without multitasking. Just sit without planning the next step. That was for me. Be fully present in the moment. Presence is a spiritual act in and of itself. Third, practice generosity from what you have, not from what you wish you had. Paul says, hope in God, enjoy his provision, and share it. Generosity anchors contentment. It breaks the illusion that joy requires accumulation. It just doesn't. You don't need more to start giving. You need awareness. And let me say something gently but directly. A foolish person can agree with all of this and still postpone joy. Agreement without action just leaves life unchanged. Remember, Jesus said that the wise person hears what he says and practices it. So practice what we're learning. Enjoy your spouse today and not when life slows down. Enjoy your children today and not when they're older. Well, enjoy them when they're older, but enjoy them now as well. Enjoy your work today, not just when it becomes perfect, because it's not going to be. Enjoy your friendships today, not just when you feel less busy, because one day, without warning, seasons end. And Solomon's begging us not to arrive at the end saying, I built a life I never lived. Rule number 4 is not about shrinking your dreams. It's about being fully present in your life. Be content. Enjoy what you have, because joy delayed becomes joy denied. And success without enjoyment is another way of just chasing the wind.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this podcast, we post a new episode each week, so be sure to subscribe and leave us a review so you can help share our message. We'll see you next time.